Hello, my name is Stupiduvins, and this one I'm beating Pokemon Heart Gold cosplaying as Misty, meaning I'm using one staryu and one starmie. While I beat Falconer and his birds, I want to explain my rule set real quick. I don't use items in battle, I play on set mode, and for this one, Misty is the GOAT, so I set the level cap of my Mons to be 80% of the gym leader's highest level Mon, because if I didn't, this would be a 5-minute long video of me pressing A 10,000 times, and I have to get that viewer time somehow. So what makes Misty good? Starmie. Period. End of sentence. Done. You have a combination of speed, power, and a crazy move pool. Starmie is the original 4-attack demon that can get away with running Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Surf, and Psychic, and outspeed basically everything on the field, and one-shot most things. This is Gen 1, by the way, so we don't have stat monsters like Zacian running around. This is good for Gen 1. Starmie uninvested pretty much outruns any Mon at 80% of the cap. It's honestly freaking insane. The only drawback is because it's a stone evolution, you don't get most of these moves until you find the TM or HM for them. But also, you have the ability Natural Cure, which removes status conditions on the switch, which is really good when you're pairing it with staryu, because I'm giving it a more defensive role on this team, mostly going for max defense, max HP with some toxic trolling. Anyway, you'll see all that in the near future. In summary, Misty is the Gen 1 GOAT, and let's get into the run. I've proclaimed in the past my love for Bugsy's team. Really, it's just the Scyther, if we're being honest. It's really fast, it hits hard, and surprisingly bulky. It's a really difficult fight, and for all the praise that I just heaped on Starmie, it really can't do anything in this one. Staryu, being only water type, has a much easier time against Bugsy's bug types than Starmie does. Starmie basically gets one shot by U-turn every single time, no matter what I do. So basically, the whole strategy for this one is to spam Harden and Toxic Skull with Staryu. Water Gun with Starmie is like a 7-shot, so this is the really only option. I have this one on 6 times speed to spare me and you from having to watch the Toxic Stall, but we do what we do to have to win, I guess. Next up is Whitney, and at this point I'm trying to see how far I can get without bringing out the Starmie. I'm like Rock Lee with the ankle weights, and they only bring out the Starmie until I absolutely have to, which in this one I didn't. And it is, you guessed it, more Toxic Stall with Staryu, but this time I also have Recover. This isn't too bad of a fight, but it does show you the importance of speed in Pokemon. The main reason why Whitney's Miltank is infamous is because it is weirdly fast. Like, 100 base speed is going to outspeed basically everything that you bring to this gym at this point in the game. The reason why speed is so important because it spams Stomp, which seemingly flinches like a Serene Grace Miltank. I'm not saying she hacked her Mon, but I'm watching you, Whitney. Anyways, the cow flinches you and piles up damage, and because it is so bulky, laughs at you as it drinks its own milk, I guess. Pokemon's weird. So basically the Miltank wants to stall you and wear you down, but you don't bring stall against the stall guy, and we were able to bring home the win against Whitney and her cheating Mons. Next up is Ghost Boy and his headband, and this is the one where I get to take off the ankle weights. This is also the one where I learned how powerful Natural Cure is as an ability. Starmie, as you will see, one-shots everything with Psybeam except the Gengar. I set up a light screen against the Haunter because it likes to spam Hypnosis, and if it connected, all I would have to do is switch my Starmie out to my Staryu, curing my Starmie's sleep, then let Staryu get put to sleep. This Haunter's only attacking moves involve Mons that are asleep, so this is a free switch back into my Starmie, and it can one-shot the Haunter. The Haunter is a dummy and misses, but I end up having to do that on Gengar, so I was able to show my strategy after all, and show that I am smarter than Morty. Next up is 2-Buck Chuck, and he trolls me by clicking double team a few times, but my starmie once again shows him why they're the GOAT by hitting Psybeam when it matters. Then, against his Poliwrath, he hits a Hypnosis, and I need to switch out for my starmie to wake up. My staryu is then able to put in some work by clicking Toxic, and Chuck needs to go back to trainer school when he clicks Surf against my staryu. I swear, they let anybody be a gym leader these days. My staryu then goes down because I get greedy and click Recover on his Focus Punch, and that brings my sweeper back in to finish the job. Next up is Jasmine and her Ampharos. I wanted to sweep her team with staryu. I couldn't, and starmie clicked Surf 2 times. Next up is Price and his water types, and he too tries to stall me, the stall guy. Both his Seal and Dugong have Rest, and Starmie's Psybeam isn't a 2-shot on either, so they can just keep clicking Rest over and over and over and over and over. It feels like I'm in a loop. And Rest, by the way, has blank. Put it on the video. Put the text that says how many. I haven't looked it up yet. PP. The issue with his stall though is he can't actually do anything to me. So he's not really stalling, he's just wasting my time. My and my starmie's time. We've got places to be, we've got an international crime syndicate and their level 25 Coughings to defeat. Well, we eventually get an opportune crit and can easily beat him. Next up is Claire and her Gyarados. This fight is actually pretty difficult, mainly due to me being so underleveled. I'm running choice specs on my starmie, which ensure a 1-shot Thunderbolt on her Gyarados. I then have to switch out my staryu to get some damage off on her incoming Dragonair, and to allow myself to use Ice Beam when my starmie comes back in. Ice Beam on Dragonair, believe it or not, is not actually a roll to 1-shot, and I can't get paralyzed, so this is the safest way to do this. After bringing my starmie back in and finishing off her first Dragonair, I also thankfully get the roll and finish off her second Dragonair. This brings in the Kingdra, who 4 times resists my Ice Beam, so I must switch out. My plan originally was to get Toxic on the Kingdra, and then switch back into my starmie and spam Psychic until it went down, but staryu goes full Thanos.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
And hits 2 clutch Psychics on the Kingdra, even after being repeatedly accuracy lowered. Claire then allows me to stall her by repeatedly clicking Smokescreen on my staryu and missing both Hyper Beam and Hydro Pump. I really do appreciate when people allow me to stall them like that. The staryu eventually goes down, but not after putting up a Meryl Streep and Devil Wears Prada-like performance. Starmie then comes back in, and seeing that beauty of a performance, cleans with 2 Psychics. Next up is Will. This isn't a terribly difficult fight, but didn't end up taking a while due to luck mainly. For this battle, I have the Nevermelt Ice on my starmie, and can click Ice Beam on both of Will's Natu and his Executor. The luck part comes in because I'm able to one-shot the Natu with a timely crit. He usually likes to U-turn or Confuse Ray. U-turn does a lot of damage, and Confuse Ray adds a lot of chance into the battle because my Starmie, as you will see, loves to hit themselves. The second Natu unfortunately comes out and does what the first couldn't and confuses me into immediate confusion self-hit. That's maybe the fastest foreshadowing payoff I've ever seen. Thankfully, Starmie breaks through on the second and finishes off the Natu, bringing out the Executor, which isn't one-shot by Ice Beam and retaliates with an Egg Bomb, which leaves my Starmie at 1 HP. This was calculated. Jinx then comes out and I need to switch for the obligatory Toxic Stall segment of the battle by bringing in staryu and clicking Toxic. I need to get some chip on the Jinx because Thunderbolt isn't one shot, and as I just said, my Starmie has 1 HP. I get the necessary chip on the Jinx and staryu goes down, allowing me to bring out the Starmie and recover back to full on the Jinx while it slowly dies to poison. Finally, the Slowbro comes out because I guess Will forgot the link cable at home, which the Starmie then 2 shots, and we're on to the next. Next up is Koga and his poison types. For this one, we're going to count how many times I click Psychic. That's 1. Next up is Fortress. Now Fortress resists. That's 2. But it still looks to be a 3-shot. He clicks Toxic Spikes, but he has to know I'm not switching. That's 3. Still not switching, Koga. That's 4. Next Muck comes in, and it's pretty bulky, but I'm gonna click Psychic. That's 5. Guess it wasn't bulky enough. Next Crobat comes in. It's pretty speedy. It's probably gonna outspeed me. It does. Clicks Double Team. Turns out that was the wrong move though. That's 6. Next up is Venomoth, and I'm not even gonna joke, so we're just gonna move on to the next one. And that is 7. Goodbye. Thanks for playing. After spritzing my Starmie with an Elixir, next up is Bruno, and I'm going for the any % world record speedrun of how fast I can sweep his team with a Starmie. The strategy is the same as last time, so let's see if I can do it. Next up is Karen, and this is easily the worst fight of the Elite Four. This took me so long to beat. The main reason being because the Umbreon just does whatever it wants. Sometimes it would spam double team, sometimes not. Sometimes it would attack on the switch, sometimes it wouldn't. This freaking Umbreon made me want to pull my freaking hair out. The strategy I ended up going with is Toxic Stalling the Umbreon with my Staryu, and then hoping that after Karen full healed, that my Staryu would hit another Toxic. To do this, I use the move Gravity on my Staryu, which is probably the first time I've ever used that move, which is fun. Move Gravity, by the way, multiplies my chance to hit by 5/3, which gives my Staryu a better chance to hit. Then, before the Umbreon goes down, I need to purposely sack my Staryu. This gives me the chance to set up a few Cosmic Powers with my Starmie, which boosts both defenses by 1. By the way, this is one of the only faults of Starmie. It really doesn't have any good setup moves. Like, Cosmic Power is the best it has. Like, why doesn't this thing get Nasty Plot or Calm Mind? It looks nasty, it looks calm. I feel like it should get either of those. It's pretty easy sweep from there, but getting in the position where Umbreon didn't crit me, or attacked at an inopportune time, or was just plain annoying was awful, and I'm gonna stop talking now because I would like to forget it. Next up is Lance and his Gyarados. This champion fight ended up being pretty easy because his lead Gyarados really can't do anything to me, so I can freely set up with Cosmic Power and sweep his team. Kinda anticlimactic with how difficult the last fight was. Another thing I learned in this run is that ice is not resisted by rock. I feel like it should interact with rock in some sort of way, because, you know, if you throw ice at a rock, it would break, but also if water seeps into rock and expands, it breaks the rock, so I don't know. Anyway, this is a pretty good run, and that's all I have. Thanks, and goodbye.